happening, YouTube? Back to Arena. Blue-white control. Which blue-white control? Vroom Productions updated blue-white control. Last time I didn't play it card for card, and because he told me to like make some tweaks or whatever, so I did, and he switched things up, and I'm gonna play this list as close to card for card as I can because I still don't have the authority of the consoles, so I'm literally I can't do that because I don't have them. And then my Wrath split is different, but it's the same amount of Wrath. It's four Wrath of God. He was playing 2, and then 1 Settle, and then 3 Doomscar. I'm just playing 4 Wrath and 2 Doomscar. That's the only change I made. And yeah, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Baffling End, 4 Memory Lapse, 2 Search for Escanta, 4 Narset Parter Veils, 2 Saw It Coming, 4 Absorb, 3 Cast Out, 4 Wrath of God, 1 Behold the Multiverse, 1 Commit to Memory, 2 Doomscar, 4 Teferi, 4 Shark Typhoon, 1 Dream Trawler, Blue Sun Zenith. This is not in his list, but because I don't have authority of the consoles, I needed something to fill those 2 slots. Oh, and he had main deck Rest in Peace. So I've added Blue Sun Zenith, the 4th spot removal, and the 2nd search. And that's all I changed. So I don't know what that name is, but anyway. Oh, I see what I did. Vroom. Okay. And the sideboard. He didn't have a sideboard. Did he have a sideboard? Let me check real quick. I have it brought up on my phone. Oh, he did have a sideboard. All right, I'll play his sideboard exactly as he had it. 2 Cage, 3 Veto. All right. 2 Rest in Peace. I don't have a Rest in Peace main, so I'll just play the 3rd one. So, kind of Mystical Dispute. All right, let me get this here. Okay, the 3rd Veto in the sideboard. I have the 3rd Rest in Peace already. Leyline, he's not playing Leyline. That's something that I do because I hate Thought Distortion. He has the 4 spot removal on the sideboard. I have that main, so I will just leave that as is. 2 Brazen Borrower. Oops. I'm not really sure why there's 2 Brazen Borrower, but I'll go ahead and play it. Saw It Coming, the 3rd one, which makes sense. You want a hard count. Why did that only hit that? And then a Doomscar, which is perfect. I don't like Settle. There's too many decks that can look at your hand and take stuff out of it. So I don't think Settle is what you want to be playing. But that's the only change I made was the Wrath split. And then, like I said, I can't run the Authority package because I do not have authority of the consoles. Yeah, so in place of that, I'm playing the 4 spot removal, the 2nd search, and then my personal favorite, Blue Sun Zenith, because I had to work in 3 cards. So there's still 1 Behold the Multiverse. We have the Brainstorms now. That's his thing. And his sideboard is basically card for card. I literally just swapped the Rest in Peace for the 4th Baffling End, or the 4th spot removal. He was playing Seal Away. So yeah, I'm going to take this list and play this because last time I played, the last one I did, it was, I didn't do very well. I believe it was like a 1-4 type of thing. So we'll see how this goes. And I chalked that up to my inexperience with Yorion decks. Well, we'll play if the server works. The server might not work. I couldn't get it to run at all earlier. I wanted to do this morning, but it was not running at all. Arena just wouldn't function. So we're going to do this now at like 5 in the evening. And then hopefully have it up within a couple hours. That'll be cool. And I want to play some more Esper control. That's kind of like I've been trying to make Esper control work since I started playing Arena in Standard and then Historic. and it's got a lot of tools for it now, so I want to keep playing with that. I kind of feel like Esper is like my deck because I don't see Esper very often. So it's just kind of like, you know, I tweak that one a lot. Like blue white's pretty established. There's always somebody playing blue white. Oh, and real quick, I don't have the irrigated farmlands, hence my inclusion of Temple of Enlightenment. So the only like real changes I made were ones that like I just couldn't, I just didn't have certain cards, and I had to make a tweak here or there. It's not that big of a deal, and I hope Vroom doesn't mind. But like, those are the only ones I made. I'm happy that he cut the Elspeth Conquers Death because the card felt absolutely horrendous to me. And yeah, he cut down on a Dream Trawler, which is nice. And this right here is why I do not like Seal Away anymore. There are so many cards, like little creatures, that you need to be able to answer whether or not they attack. And Seal Away to me is just like a bad removal spell. And I started playing a lot of Seal Aways, but like you just have to be able to answer mana dorks and stuff that like your opponent's not going to try and attack you with. I'm going to shock this in, play Narset, and do Narset things. I have a Teferi. I'll take a Brainstorm. I don't need the second Teferi right now. So earlier I was watching Vintage Magic interview Brian Weissman from like I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, playing old school and talking about that deck. So even though it's probably really stupid, um, at some point I want to make a blue-white historic deck that is based on Brian Weissman's old school deck. That's probably a terrible idea because it doesn't have any board wipes, but we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be more so in spirit than anything. Like, we're not going to have win conditions and stuff like that. I don't know. I might try that out. It sounds like fun. So we'll see how that works. Do I want to blow up the board right now? Not really. I have a counter spell in hand. I will counter the next thing that he plays. And I want him to really like lean into the board wipes. If he doesn't play anything, I'll brainstorm and try to hit lands. That can resolve. Right now I think I'm just gonna board wipe. That's 3 for 1's pretty good. I'm not gonna complain about that. I'm not gonna be playing that because I'm going for the board wipe. I want it the turn after though. Yeah, the turn after. And we have the second Wrath dialed in. I will play these green-white decks all day with control because it's such a good matchup. There's times when it can be annoying if they get the Spellbinders at the right point, but for the most part, it's a pretty good matchup. I'm actually gonna bait because I can hold Memory Lapse and play Narset. Narset potentially hits another Wrath for me, or removal spells. Fine. All right, Archon. All right, well, that's still fine. They can't kill me. I think it's very important to leverage your life total here. Now I'll counter this, and then I'm going to Wrath next turn because I know he has the Spirit Binder. Or Spellbinder. Yeah. Curious that he didn't attack. Do I? Because this can hit the Archon, and it can hit the Apparition, and then I have a 3/3. And then all I have to deal... Well, no, because a 6-mana Wrath, like, things could still get bad. He's got the Spellbinder. I have a 2/2. He's going to play a spell. Now I can pretty easily answer the Spellbinder, and he'll probably take one of these two. Maybe the Dream Trawler. Yeah, okay. Dream Trawler is what he's most afraid of. That makes sense. Dream Trawler will take over the game if I hit another land. They can't remove Dream Trawler at all. Alright, well, that worked out well for him and very bad for me. Okay, so I could hit. I'm just gonna play Teferi, because Teferi lets me untap 2 lands, and then I get to hold up the counter spell. My life total is by no means under duress. We're not attacking. Just untap some lands, hold the absorb, hit whatever he plays, and I don't think I can lose from this position. Baffling End answers literally all of his threats. Sure. There's no Archon, so I can play as many as I want. Run the token into the Scoos. No problem. Keep the fairy alive. I probably should have countered the Lovestruck Beast just so there was one less thing that needed killed. That was a mistake on my part. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not going to matter. That can easily get bigger than the Spellbinder. So hit that, and then I'll aim to cycle. If I don't have to counter, I'll cycle a Shark for 1 to chump here. And I'll do it for 1 in case I hit a 2-mana counter, because I can't make a Shark big enough to just eat this, so it's a trade. And I only need 1 power to trade with the Spellbinder. They shouldn't have instant speed removal. I'm pretty sure they don't. So now we block. Collected Company doesn't really matter that much. I can play the Dream Trawler next turn. And they likely can't beat Dream Trawler. Or I can make a big shark. I can chump with tokens. I'm gonna play the Dream Trawler. They don't have any removal that can hit it. Skyclave doesn't do it. Yeah, they just don't have any way to kill this besides combat. Great Henge is annoying, but I can get rid of it with my second copy of Teferi. They can't go off and like kill me here. If they have any type of spot removal, I can protect the Dream Trawler pretty easily, as everybody knows. And I could just cycle the Typhoon and make a giant shark rather than answer the Great Henge. I'm not that concerned about the Great Henge at this point. But well, let's attack with the Trawler first. And I am attacking with the Dream Trawler. The draw card, you know, could be relevant. Okay. Like I said, I can even just not play anything and literally just outrace their damage. Oh, alright. Well, match 1, we win. Opponent realizes this is a very bad matchup for him. That's cool. I'm fine with that. After the last video with his deck, I would like some free wins. You know, like these good matchups, like green-white taxes. At first, I thought it might have been a rough matchup, but the more I play it, it's so automatic. You just slaughter them every game. Well, not every game, every match. You will lose one game, it seems, based on my experience. You will lose either the first or the second game. And yeah, because you won't draw lands. That's been my experience playing against this deck. Like I'll win game 1, lose game 2, and then beat them game 3. The only reason I lose game 2 is so they don't draw lands. I don't understand why it works that way, but it seems to be a pattern. And there's the servers again punking out on us. Well, I might be I might not be playing any more matches. And the Jeskai or Esper video is probably gonna have to wait. But here we go. Oh, and he cut the Seagate restoration. And is playing 35 lands now. So, because if you remember, he was playing 81 cards, which, I don't know, kind of weird, but now it's down to 80. And we're not playing Seagate. 35 lands, the last list had 34. Yeah, personally, I think you could play as much as 38 lands in these types of decks, but I told Vroom I would play it as close to his build as I possibly could. So that's what I'm going to do. There's a Doomscar there. I want to keep that just in case. I don't know what. Overgrown. There's a couple different decks that could be. Alright, Sultai. Last time I played this match, it felt awful. So we'll see how it goes now. It's funny to me because it used to be Blue-White Control's best matchup. Granted, I played against it when I was playing the Urion deck. I'm not good with Urion decks. So, that is possibly why it felt like that. I could slam Narset here. They don't have main deck counterspell. Nobody has main deck counterspell, but you know what I mean. Or do I want to hold my memory lapse? Yeah, I'm going to hold memory lapse because this is the potential Nissa turn. And if I get hit by Nissa, it's just game over. Like, I can't beat that card. I would much rather deal with Uro than Nissa. I would rather deal with a 12-12 Uro that drew them 2 cards a turn than deal with Nissa. Like, seriously, 2 Uros is more manageable than 1 Nissa for control decks. I'm going to shock that in just to kind of try and bluff having 2 counter spells. Because their life total, first of all, like, life doesn't really matter at all. But, like, it really doesn't matter in this matchup. They kill you with value and big mana bullshit plays and stuff. Like, they're not going to beat you to death. Life is a resource. Use it as such. Sharky, yeah. This is the one type of strategy where Shark Typhoon makes a lot of sense in the main. Because control decks can beat you up, but you can just ramp a shitload and make big sharks really early on. Like, he's got a 5-5 already. Yeah, now he can make 6-6. Shit. That's actually not horrible. Wrath. I get a 2 for 1. I kind of doubt he has counter spells. I'm going to cycle. I really want to hit my 6th land so I can go Wrath with Memory Lapse. And do it again. My goal is to just not let a Nissa resolve. Can I please hit a land? Fuck you. Alright. Like, I literally can't beat Nissa. And they have so many ways to destroy enchantments. It's just not even worth keeping cast outs in hand, in my opinion. Hitting that 6th land is what I needed to do. Take out the token. I'm not, like, 4 damage is manageable. Right now we're on a 3-turn clock, but they don't have burn. The risk of killing both with Wrath of God and then being blasted by Nissa is just too much. I can't take that risk. Especially missing all the land drops. I think I only missed 2 land drops, but still. they don't miss any land drops, as you see here. So yeah, I just can't like let Nissa resolve. It's an automatic loss, basically. It's just so bad to let that card resolve. Alright, land, good. Wrath. I will Wrath. They don't tend to play counter spells in the main deck, so I feel fine doing that there without anything to like hold up. It's all about Nissa. Like, just don't let Nissa resolve and you'll beat these decks pretty handily. Nissa resolves, you die horribly, basically. Luckily, their Yorion deck, Alrune's Epiphany, huh? I'm gonna put that on top. It makes tokens and they could go off. Now I can just stifle them a little bit here. Get rid of the Alrune's Epiphany and still hold up my 2 memory lapses. Or, most likely, I will play Narset and hold up 1 memory lapse. I think that's what I'm going to do instead. Because they do have a fair amount of card draw. Narset's usually pretty good against these decks. I guess that was more so true when they had Uro. But whatever, I'm just going to hold the memory lapse. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, that's whatever. I got the Teferi. They can probably kill Teferi almost immediately, but still. I would really love to have Counterspell against this deck. Because, like, the tempo swing doesn't really matter that much. Because their shit is so impactful. They don't mind if it's on the top. They're just gonna, like, cast it and kill you with it at some point. It's so... Like, it's not like against a creature deck where you're like, oh, let me put your worthless 2-drop on top of your deck or your 1-drop on top of your deck. No, for them, it's just like, all right, you're dead. As soon as this resolves, you are dead. So that's awful. Not hitting a hard counter here. Yeah, I'm probably most likely just dead. So that sucks. Maybe cycle for a giant shark can do something relevant, but I think I'm just dead. I know one of the cards is likely going to be the Alrund's Epiphany. But yeah, this is just really, really hard to beat. You don't beat this, basically. That's why the decks are... I actually have a couple of these. I might try this Sultai deck out. I have 2. They only tend to play 2 copies of this, so... And you don't need the Alrund's Epiphany. I don't have that. But you could use something else. I have a couple Time Warps. Even that would work. They probably play Time Warp now that they have access to it. Wharnclex, Liliana. So if... I can't beat Vorinclex, but they don't have... Can I beat a Valky? Can I beat Tybalt? You know what? I actually can. With the Shark Typhoon, I think I can. Because I can make... Let's see. I have 4, 8... I have 9 mana. I can make a 7/7 and kill one of the Planeswalkers. And then Teferi can tuck the other one. So, yeah. I'm going to make a 7/7 Shark. I guess he could have removal. Doesn't matter. If I give them Vorinclex, I just lose to the ultimates straight away. So it doesn't matter that much. But if he doesn't have the removal spell, I'm actually kind of alright. If he does have the eliminate, then I'm just dead. Basically. Heartless Act, same thing. That's really, really sucky. Alright, so I can tuck that. I can sacrifice my other Teferi, tuck the Lily. Literally can't beat any of these any other way. I can put that into my hand, and I can set that. Dream Trawler is interesting. Dream Trawler might just do it. Alright, that's not a hard counter though, so. And I have the Yorion next turn to just kind of like block some stuff. More mana? Like you didn't have enough mana? Do you have a memory dialed in? That seems really bad to give them access to that. So I'm not gonna do that. And next turn I have the Dream Trawler. Unless opponent goes for oh, he took my commit to memory. Okay. That makes sense. I was gonna say I didn't think I used one. And then so he took my card with Valky. Or Tybalt rather. I still think that's bullshit that you can go and get that half, the other half of the card with these search effects. And then there's other effects that do that, let you search for things, but you can't put them into play. It's just kind of weird. I gotta try to kill him. Get in with the Orion, hold back the Dream Trawler, draw a bunch of cards, potentially kill him next turn. Because that's 15 in the air. Not counting the draw off of the Trawler. That actually doesn't matter unless he has an extra turn spell or two. Doesn't look like he has it. Alright, now we win if he doesn't have counter magic. Now, I'm not gonna cancel. I can do both. I'm gonna bait with this. We're gonna hard cast the Shark Typhoon. That's where we have a blocker. And I get the full refill. Assuming this works. That sucks. That really sucks. But we do have a giant shark. This isn't gonna steal stuff. Alright, yeah, we just... Alright. Well, it was a valiant effort. Sort of. I tried. So I guess I shouldn't have played this. No, because then the Dream Trawler would have tapped anyway. Yeah, so it didn't matter what I did there. He just had the counter for it. So we are dead. That sucks. But whatever. I don't think this stops Emergent Ultimatum. But on the off chance it does, I'm going to bring in the 2 copies. Because you don't need that many board wipes against them. Then I want some counter spells. I'm not going to bother with Mystical Dispute. I only have 2 for 80 cards. And they can just... They have so much mana, I don't think it matters. Alright, try this. And I would much rather have Wrath of God over the spot removal, Baffling End. Yeah, so this is an advantage of irrigated farmland. It just turns on your castles, but I don't really think that does much of anything to me at all. So I'm grateful my opponent's bringing in cards that don't matter that much. I guess they probably do have a lot of cards that they can cut, though. And they're playing an 80 card deck as well, so. Do I want to brainstorm now? By brain, like, because I'm not really doing anything with the fairy right now. It's going to be a couple turns, and I have 4. So I am going to go ahead and put back a Teferi. And I'm actually going to put back Shark Typhoon, because one thing that hurt last time was getting stifled on mana. So I want my lands in hand. I'm just going to get a Plains to turn on the castles here. I'm not going to play it now. I'm going to play the Fortress, so I have Absorbs up. So I guess that this doesn't stop Emergent Ultimatum since they have it in. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and counter that. Hopefully soon I can start with the token production. He missed a land drop, I think. Yeah, he definitely missed one. So I'll let him draw a card because he has actual ramp spells which are far more impactful than Growth Spiral. So go ahead and do that. But if he plays like a Cultivate or a Migration Path, I'm gonna counter it. He's gonna cycle it. Alright. That's cool. But I don't want to die with a bunch of counter magic in hand, so I'm just gonna fire it off when I can to stop ramp spells. I'm not gonna stop like a Growth Spiral, but if I can stop Cultivate or Migration Path, or even that, because that's gonna go get him a card, I will instead of countering that, I'm gonna put that. Yeah, I want to use the most expensive card right now. I'll put that back. This card doesn't do a whole lot in the matchup. Alright, do I play my Typhoon? Because they have ways to get rid of enchantments, all non-land permanents, really. But they also have plenty of ways to kill creatures. At least if I cycle it, I get to draw a card. So that's what I'm going to hold that for. Or just make tokens. Alright, so I've hit every land drop, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So that's good. I'm going to get a Plains. And I'm going to look to make a 5/5. Binding the Old Gods. Yeah, that's fine. See, this is why I don't want to play the Shark Typhoon. They just have so many ways to kill it. At least this way, they have to have a more general piece of removal. It has to be instant speed. Or a less general piece of removal. It has to be more specific, is what I mean. Yeah, they have it. Alright. Yeah, so Shark Typhoon's really just terrible in this match. honestly. Dream Trawler, though, can come down unopposed. And I don't even have to discard a card to protect it because I have a veto. They have a kill spell. Although, discarding Wrath of God is fine here. I obviously don't want to blow up my own Dream Trawler. Alrund's Epiphany. That I want to... They'll have blockers. I really just want to kill them. They're tapped out now. I can pop off with memory if I want to. Do I want to? Because if I do that, I'm swinging for 11, but I'm giving them a new hand, so I'm not going to do that. That's terrible. All right, I'll just attack. Draw another piece of discard fodder. And the turn. All right. Honestly, this is the one time I don't mind seeing that. 4. I have 8 mana. We're gonna make a 6/6. I'm actually just gonna play it out. Is Brazen Borrower better than Cast Out? It actually probably is. Because, again, they just have so many ways to blow up enchantments. They have Binding, Maelstrom Pulse. They have... I imagine the Yorion builds are probably playing Assassin's Trophy because they don't really care. At least in my line of thinking, they don't care if they give their opponent a land because they're going so over the top of you in terms of mana production and things that it doesn't matter. And the ability to efficiently destroy anything seems too good to pass up for these decks. All right, now we get hit with the Thoughtseize. Probably takes Narset. I can't imagine he takes the Fairy. It's got to be Narset. Possibly Brazen Borrower, depending on what your Brainstorm. The card that I care literally the least about. That only makes sense if he's got more discard spells. And he mulliganed. So if he has a discard heavy hand and he mulliganed, that's actually really good for me. He doesn't have it. Alright. Cool. I don't care about Cage. I like that my opponent's playing useless cards. Does he have Mystical Dispute? I don't have counter spells. We're just going to play Narset and find out. Alright, doesn't have it. Veto seems decent. Better than Wrath of God in this position. Oh, and I already have a Wrath in hand. And we win because they didn't draw lands. All right. Close matchup. The more combo-oriented version. But, yeah. Tight gameplay. Game 2. And, yeah, the deck... Like, if they didn't have commit, we would have won game 1. Definitely. But they just happened to have the only card in their deck that answered that particular scenario. And they had it right there when they needed it. So... They got us game 1, but, like, it's a tough matchup, but I do feel like, especially blue-white, is favored. Because, like, they still have to play into you. Ooh, I really want to build a deck with this. But yeah, that's a tough match. It's definitely tougher than the Uro decks were. Because those decks were just like, they're going to jam Uro and they're going to jam Nissa. And that's about it. Still having trouble with the server, it looks like. Might take some time to get into the match. It's gonna take time. There we go. Wow, the 1,190 ranked, 96th ranked player. Can we win? Is there a difference between Mythic and where I'm at, or is it literally just about how long you can play the game? I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I probably should have mulliganed, but this hand's functional enough. I just need to hit blue. And I don't know what I'm playing against. I have a pretty good idea now. It's Gruul Aggro. Everybody's favorite brain dead deck. That's how you get to Mythic. You just play dumb aggro decks, and there you go. What does this do? 5 mana. Am I going to regret hitting this with Baffling End now? I can't hold... I can play this, but next turn I kind of want to play Narset to dig for Wrath. And counterspells typically aren't great against these types of decks anyway. So I'm going to go for Baffling End and just make sure that my Narset will not die immediately. Llanowar Elves. Alright. So we have a 3-drop we're going to have to deal with. I still think playing Narset's correct because removal spells are going to be good. Search is also nice. They don't usually have a way to answer this game 1. But I am pretty light on removal. I'm going to take Search for Iskanta. That's probably incorrect. I probably should have taken Baffling End. That way I could baffle... Oh, they have a 4-drop. Alright, so I'm glad I didn't take Baffling End. It wouldn't have mattered. I'll have to cast this out. This card's fucking insane. I just look at this card and I'm like, why? I don't know why it's so pushed. And yet it doesn't see that much play. And I don't understand. The card's absolutely insane. So, seeing how this played out, I didn't have any good picks that time. So, this is the least bad of the two that I could have taken. The other one was a cast out, and there was a land. Having 2 cast outs is not great because it's 4 mana, and most of the time you're spending 4 mana to answer a smaller thing, so it kind of sucks in that regard. I'm gonna suspend this and play the Search. These decks typically don't have a lot of burn. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 5. I guess if he has the Embercleave, I'm gonna regret not hitting the Questing Beast. But that's like edge case. I'd rather get these down. The sooner I can hit Rast, the sooner that I just win outright. And now I have a 2-mana counterspell as well. Sarkhan the Fireblood, huh? Discard a card, draw a card, add mana, spend its only limit, cast dragon spells, create 5. That's some shit right there, boys. I'm gonna play this tapped, and we have to get rid of the Questing Beast. I'm gonna do it now. He's missed lands, so I'm not expecting anything particularly intimidating. I guess that's a thing that could happen. The 5-mana dragons, yeah, Goldspan and the other guy. I don't particularly want to target this anyway. He just gets like a bunch of mana that way. I just need to hit a Wrath. There we go. Now I have my counterspell up. In this case, it's an easier to cast counterspell. So I feel pretty good about how I played that out. If I get hit with a couple burn spells, it's going to suck, but this doesn't strike me as a burn style deck. I do have to find an answer for this, or at least the dragons. He's not the hardest planeswalker in the world to deal with. I'll just hit this. I don't think there's any answers in green for a counterspell. No, Bone Crusher. Alright. That's like the least bad thing they could do. Yeah, I'll take that. They're playing big shit. I want the counter spell. If they don't do anything, I just make a 4/4 and attack Sarkon. I won't counter a bone, like I won't counter this. If he plays one from his hand to shock me, I will counter that. That's getting countered as well. I can't effectively deal with it. And if I need to, this is going to just become a 1/1, so I don't have to deal with 5 dragons. And that's all that's going to happen there. Hello, buddy. Hold on, dude. What's the matter? What's the matter? Come here. Hi. That can go to the graveyard. Yeah, I will transform that. Like I said, I really don't want to deal with 5 dragons. I can make a token and do memory lapse, or memory lapse and do Escanta. At this point, I think I'm going to memory lapse into Escanta. What's the... 4-mana... There's no 4-mana dragons, to my knowledge. So I'm going to hit that with memory lapse. And we're going to Escanta. Try to hit something relevant. Bone Crusher to kill my little shark. That's fine. I can't Escanta to look for a counterspell to stop it, so there's no point in doing such. I'll just wait. Because I may want to make a 3/3 here. I think I do. I still can't beat 5 dragons. And this still draws a card, so I have to attack this. Alright, that works out well. The more mana I have, the better. So I'm going to play that. There's no need to hold cards to try and bluff. Alright, we're going to counter the Domery. Gain some life. I'm not that worried about Bone Crushers. I can trade off with one. I've got this to a manageable level, and he just concedes. I'm cool with that. I want the Doom Scar. And they do play... Alright, I can't say that for sure. I've not seen what my opponent is doing for sure. But red-green typically has a bunch of planeswalkers that they bring in against control. The typical red-green decks. So, I'm going to cut the one of Behold the Multiverse. I would rather just play big draw spells instead of this. Because like this doesn't pull you ahead enough to justify playing only one copy. Whereas like a one of Blue Sun Zenith or even a one of Sphinx's Rev can pull you massively ahead. So I wouldn't play this. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I think these spells you want to play multiples of. Not necessarily a 4 of, but 2 to 3. And then in an 80 card deck, there's no need to play one. If you're going to play a one of draw spell, make it a big one. That's my opinion on that. I'm going to bring that in. Vetoes. I'm thinking about vetoes over memory lapse. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to make that swap. I'm not likely to counter their creatures anyway because they're cheap, but they're planeswalkers I can counter, and I really don't want them redeploying the planeswalkers against me. That's how I will lose. Maybe. I'm on the draw, so I'm behind in that regard. Because I'm on the draw, I'm gonna mulligan. Oh, that's so worse. How do I get fucked over like that, game? Come on. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. I can't keep a one-lander. Alright, that's a little more balanced, I suppose. The putbacks in my mind are pretty easy. I do think this is probably the best hand of the three that I looked at. Alright. Temple first. I'm gonna bottom. I don't have the mana to cast it. I just would like to hit another blue. Dome, yeah, this is why I was... Fuck. There's the other blue mana. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna suspend the Doom Scar. Opponent did mulligan to 6. It looks like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he's gonna dump creatures. Cindervines. This is not actually that good against control. Every time I see Cindervines, I'm like, oh, okay, it's Cindervines. I don't care. Like, it's not very good. I would not bring this in against control decks. Just FYI. I really don't like tap lands at all. I don't care if they're dual lands or not. I don't like tap lands very much. Unless they're going to turn into, like, a Sarah Angel. I'm not that fond of them. I need to get Castle of Antris, honestly. Just grab some of those. That would help out a fair amount. What's his ultimate, dude? Is he even ultimate? Target you control fights. Alright, so I don't have to worry about this one that much right now. Like, most of my counter spells, I basically just want for their planeswalkers. I'm going to cast this now because I have plans for my mana. So, we're going to put the lands on top. Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to draw that, play it. I am going to just cast Wrath of God. They're missing land drops. They've missed a lot of land drops. So hopefully getting rid of the little guy helps. There's a land. I can't counter anything. That sucks. Well, I can't counter creatures. Yeah, that really blows. Ow. This is annoying right now. And I know I said it wasn't good, and I still say it's not good. But in this particular scenario, it's ended up being pretty good. Does he have another questing beast? Sarkon the Fireblood. Oh, this guy. Alright, this card's not a threat on its own. I can still hold Veto for an annoying Planeswalker. And remember, I can't counter creature spells anyway because of this little asshole. I'm very glad that Nico Bolas sucked his soul out. And fuck you. Gotta take the removal. Taking the 3-mana counterspell that I can't even use is kind of stupid. The Cindervines might get me, which is annoying, but I'm glad he can't just pop off the ability, though. So if he has a dragon, Goldspan Dragon, obviously, but I couldn't counter it anyway, so there was literally no reason not to play Narset. We just died to this asshole, essentially. After a mull to 5, and almost stabilization. So I don't think this is a bad matchup. I think this deck honestly seems worse than traditional Gruul. It's just because it's a little slower. At least in these two games, it's felt slower than traditional Gruul aggro. This hand's not good, but I have been punished very heavily for mulliganing in this match. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. Yeah, like I could go to 5 to try to get a hand that beats them, but like I'm playing two cards down. It's just not great. And this is the problem, again, with the Urion decks. Like blue-white Urion. They're not good against these hyper-aggressive decks. Especially when you're not, like, doing the enchantment stuff that can, like Birth of Meletis puts up walls, and then there's the Omen of the Sun. Like, it's just not good. Like, I was on the play, and I'm still gonna get punked out by Domri again. Alright, Sarkon is actually fine. I'm fine with Sarkon. I have a bunch of turns to try to deal with it. So now I get to just... I'm going to cycle a Shark Typhoon for 0. Alright. I'll play that on white. I have Absorb for whatever. Any Planeswalker gets absorbed. I'm not... like, any creature, honestly, just gets absorbed. Is this like a turn 3 Goldspan Dragon? That's nuts. This is why Birds of Paradise isn't in Standard anymore. I'm going to Absorb because if I let that resolve, I take 4 damage unnecessarily. I have to Wrath, and then I can't use my Absorb the following turn anyway. So basically, there's no point in taking the damage. I don't have any counter. I'm going to put this in my hand. And I'm going to look to play that next turn. I don't think they have creature removal. And this can just be a wall. What's this do? Creature spells you control can't be countered. Isn't that what Domri's doing? I'm not even worried about your creatures. Riot. The Riot part's annoying there. Maybe that's why they're playing it. I mean, it's 3 mana. I don't think that's good either. So do I want to hold back for a Planeswalker? No, because this can kill their Planeswalker. This just straight up kills Domri in one shot. And then like last time, I can actually answer 5 dragons here. This also, yeah, this stonewalls this asshole. Oh, I guess it doesn't now. Oh, right, he's naturally got haste. I'm going to take that so I can hit here. No blocks. Oh, it just inherently has can't be countered. Of course it does. Every fucking thing has can't be countered these days. Alright, they don't have haste. Non-token creatures you control have a riot, so that doesn't give them haste. He's not even going to activate that. Alright. I can cycle Shark Typhoon to chump the dragon. I held off on my Wrath because I don't want to get hit by those, but now I'm forced into using a Wrath. He's going to play around Settle the Wreckage? No? Alright. I'm going to cycle this for 1, and I'm going to cycle the other one for 1. Double block. Try to hit another Wrath. So I can go Wrath into Wrath, so I don't get punked out by dragons. I have a lot of Wraths, I'm just not drawing them. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's not ideal, but it is whatever. Cindervines. Yeah. Still no Wrath. That's not good. Baffling End's not gonna do shit. Fuck it. We're gonna go for the Wrath of God here. Because otherwise I take 10, I'm down to 4. Like, it's not a good spot. I should have drawn more Wraths. I brought in all of them. I have 7 Wraths in my deck. Yeah. Mulliganed twice. No, once. Mulliganed once this game. Twice the last game. There's nothing I can do. I don't have settled wreckage. I feel like my deck should have been able, or not my deck rather, but this deck should have been able to beat this one. And 9 times out of 10, I think it would. Like a blue-white control versus this deck. But the 80 card decks are pretty bloated, honestly. And that just leads to more chances of stumbling. And when you stumble against decks like that, you just lose. So that's a rough matchup there. But you see what it does to like slower decks. It does shut them off pretty well. And unlike we didn't lose to their creatures. Um, we lost to the Planeswalker, right? And that's the advantage that Gruul has over green white against controls. That they can play a bunch of Planeswalkers, and then you just kind of die. What's this? Yeah, I'm not going to play that. I might. I mean, I still have 11 hours to make up my mind if I want to play that or not. I don't know that I do. Historic Brawl Fest. Brawl's fun. I actually think this is a fun format. Using any cards enters your range. It's not just standard. Change it. Alright, so you can actually just use any Brawl deck. That's cool. If you watched my last video, you know that I'm very fond of Jeskai. I'm going to play this later. But, yeah, back to this. Oh, my bad. Yeah, so this video's an hour. I'm gonna wrap it here. I am personally not a big fan of Yorion decks for exactly what we saw against the Gruul deck. I'm pretty confident that if I was playing a 60 card blue white deck, I would have won that matchup pretty easily. Um, and it kind of sucks. I don't know if you get more rank if you beat somebody who's like top 1200 mythic. So that kind of it's disappointing to not win that when I feel like I was in a it was a very very favorable matchup. Um, yeah, so that kind of sucks. That's why I don't play these decks. They're too bloated. They don't ramp like the Sultai deck does. Like you saw what the Sultai deck did. It had like 8 mana on turn 5, and they can just leverage the extra cards so much better than a typical control deck can. So that will forever be my problem with these builds. I think the deck is fine though. If you like Yurion and you want to jam a bunch of extra cards, and go ahead. It's not my style though. So, but yeah, this definitely functioned better than the changes I made to Vroom's list. So good job, Vroom. Um, yeah, like that last one just showed my complete inexperience with a deck like this. So, like the brainstorm actually felt better in this list than it did in like 60 card lists to an extent. Like it because you didn't draw them very often. So when you did draw them, you could usually get rid of the two dead cards when the times that I drew these. So that felt good. Yeah. As for your Authority of the Consuls and Seal Away, I still think that is bad because you really want to be able to take out Mana Dorks early if you can. And Seal Away just doesn't do that. I guess Authority of the Consuls kind of allows it, but I feel like if you want to get the most of that, you need to like maximize how many you're playing. But again, like I've never played with the card. To me, it just seems not very good. But whatever, the deck is fine. If I had the authority of the Consul, I would have played your list exactly as you had it. But like I said, I didn't have it, so I had to swap those cards around, which I did. So yeah, hope you like this video more than the last one. And thank you for submitting the deck list. If you have any other deck lists, or if anybody else watching has any deck lists, if they are in the blue-white category of decks, I probably have the cards to play it or a very close approximation of it. And I will do that if you just link them in the comments. So yeah, and you should comment and like the video, because I really want YouTube to like promote a channel titled A Fucking Space Marine, because it's catchy, right? So I want to see YouTube promote that for the lulz. So just you know, do that, even if it's like a stupid comment or telling me to fuck off or whatever. Just do that so we can promote the channel, so YouTube like puts the name out there, because it's fucking hilarious to me. Anyway, all right, thank you for watching. If you watched the whole thing, if you only watched the beginning, thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate it. Leave the comment, even if it's telling me to fuck off. Like I said, let's promote A Fucking Space Marine, and yeah, make people laugh. Have a good one.